Some interesting developments are starting to appear with Bloomburrow's release. As this product is now a few weeks old, the sales are starting to stack up, the playability of the cards is becoming recognized, and that means we're going to have a lot of price shifting to deal with. Today's video of the top 10 is about to start. Stick around and find out who's number one. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here, and thank you again for hanging out with me for another top 10 video. That's right guys, the hottest selling cards in Magic, and of course we want to know who's number one. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and if you're shopping on TCG Player, don't forget to use my TCG Player affiliate link that's found in the description of all my videos. Now let's jump over to the number 10 card, and that is Three Tree City. This thing is still seeing tremendous sales volumes, and it's something we need to talk about because the supply chain on this card is getting a little bit tighter and some players are starting to notice. Now this card comes in with 2,800 sales, and the average price is $24.99, which means this card is at $69,972 of sales action. Yes, that may only make the number 10 spot, but there's a lot more going on than just the number of sales, it's also the price. Now don't forget, it's a legendary land that says, as Three Tree City enters, choose a creature type. It taps for colorless, or you can pay 2, choose a color, and add an amount of mana equal to the number of creatures of the chosen type. Guys, this is an amazing card, and it is sure to see some massive commander play in the next couple of months. Get ready for it. Now, our number 9 card this week comes to us again from Bloomburrow, and this is Fountain Port. This saw a massive upshift, actually. This card was only $3.05, I think, by like Monday or Tuesday, and we're already up to $6.05 and 2,812 sales, and this deck is starting to appear in a lot of standard play. Now, this card comes in with 17,012 sales and 60 cents. That's still a tremendous amount of money for a card that used to be a couple of bucks a week ago. When we're starting to see these cards shifting up in value, you need to start paying attention to what box prices are like and where the singles could be headed. Now, this card is just a regular land, which means you can have 4 of them in your deck. It can tap for colorless, you can pay 2 and sacrifice a token to draw a card, you can pay 3, pay a life and create a 1/1 blue fish token, and of course you can pay 4 to create a treasure token. Multi-versatile cards like this are more of the norm, but they have tremendous impact on your game. Get ready for it, get ready to see them because they're going to be there. Now for our next card this week, it is Fabled Passage again, holding on strong this week, coming in at $4.40 on average, but still has a sales volume of 3,100 sales. That's $13,640 of sales action. For a card getting a reprint, we've already had this thing a couple times over already, the amount of sales action by seeing this come back into standard has just been phenomenal. Players are applauding it. They're loving the fact this card's back around, and the artwork's good. Now this is just a land that says sacrifice Fabled Passage, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Now, when you control 4 more lands, it comes into play on tap. So if it's your 4th land coming in, it's untapped, and this thing just soups up your deck to get the exact color you need at the exact moment. I can't tell you already how many times this card has saved my life, and in standard, this thing can thin out your deck, making cards appear more often, changing the math of the game. An amazing card. Now for our next card, we're going to jump over, of course, to the talents, because this is Innkeeper's Talent. It is downgrading, it's going down, okay? It's not number 1 anymore, it's not number 2. It does fall to the number 2 spot, all the way down to number 7, but this week it still has 3,320 sales, and that's still $73,000 of sales action. So the price is still high at $22.21. That's a bit of a downgrade from what we saw last week, but this card still is worth the money. Now, for a 1 green, 1 generic, yes, you get to put the +1/+1 counters, and then you get to give the ward to all your cool stuff, but it's that last ability. If you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many counters. Using this with Vraska, I've seen in standard so often now, from that 9 counters to 18 poison counters, the game just ends. It's kind of a regular thing. People know how to deal with it now, but there's other ways of utilizing this doubling counter effect that's just giving this card a lot of versatility, as well as in Commander, guys, not just standard or modern. This is crazy, okay? It's a great card, great card. The level up ability is amazing. Now, this is, of course, the Eater of All. This one's a bit of a surprise. It just jumps onto the list this week with 3,454 sales. It's a $15.10 card. And of course, this, when used with the Seeds of Innocence on the reserve list, is becoming a thing for Commander. I've seen this several times. I have friends who have built the deck, and a couple of weeks ago we were talking about it. But now that I'm starting to see more of these decks constructed, you realize how brutal this card can really be, because there are ways to get these cards into play much faster in Commander. There's a lot of versatility there, right? So for 1 green, 1 black, 3 generic, you get the 6/6 legendary elemental cat that has Ward, Sacrifice a Food. And then it has other creatures or food artifacts in addition to their other types, and have 2 sacrifice to gain 3 life. Whenever a food's put into a graveyard, Yagra gets really big, okay? It's an insane card. Seeds of Innocence, buy it, get the combo, get it out of the way. Seeds of Innocence is falling in price. Now for our next card, we have Storm Chaser's Talent coming out of the blue to the number 5 spot. It's 3,580 sales, represents a $7,124 of sales action, of volume, of this card. Now it's only $1.99 on average, but as a single blue casting cost rare of a level up enchantment, yes, it has a higher level up cost, but it's still a pretty powerful card, because when the Storm Chaser's Talent enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 blue otter that has prowess. So right away the card's looking pretty good, right? The level 2 for 1 blue and 3, when this class becomes level 2, return target instant or sorcery, is amazing for time walking decks, etc. And then the 6 is whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you put a a 1/1 blue and red otter with prowess token into play. This thing gets insane, okay, really quickly. Remember this card. It's gonna get higher sales. I hate to say it, but it's gonna happen. So get it while it's cheap, guys. $1.99. Now for our next card, the Mage here is something I didn't expect to see. This thing's got 3,691 sales. It's only $1,100 in sales action. It's a 1 red, 1 generic, 2/2, and it's only a 30-cent card. Now, here's the thing. You're seeing it on my top 10 video right now. I recommend buying 4 in case this thing spikes. There's more going on with this card, and I have seen it played, and I have used it myself. I hate to say, oh, FOMO, but let's talk about this for a second. Yes, it has a low casting cost. It can be utilized easily. The Offspring 2, though, lets you put in a token that's a copy of this creature that says whenever you cast a non-token creature spell, this creature deals 1 damage. So if you have 4 of these in your deck, you get a couple out. And if it's like maybe a red-black deck with the land coming into play and the damage being done multiple ways, people don't see the threat until turn 4 and 5, and it's too late. The game's already going to be over on your turn because you're just going to smatter them. Be ready, guys. This thing is coming around. Get your board wipes ready. Now, for our next card, it is the Paw Patrol, man. This thing had 4,009 sales. That's only $2,806.30. It's only a 70-cent card. This isn't, again, one of those cards that's a be-all, end-all expensive card, but it's one of those cards, again, with the Offspring mechanic to pay attention to, because it is a 2/1 for 1, so it's like a green Savannah Lion. But unlike anything else, this Rabbit Warrior has a little more going on than you realize. Number 1, he's got Trample. Remember the Trample effect. It's scary. Now, it says, whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature control other than that creature. Guys, this guy's nutty. When you have Offspring and get this thing off for 3, you're going to have double effects happening. People just don't see it until it's too late. Pay attention. Okay, 70-cent card. Now for our next card, this is the Caretaker's Talent. Everyone's aware of this card now. It's seeing massive play with the Forge, and it's being utilized a lot. I've already built this deck about a week ago before it really spiked, but I didn't buy the Forge cards for my standard deck, so I'm kind of stuck. But it had 4,203 sales, okay? That's $44,089.47 of sales action, and if you don't know what Caretaker's Talent does, you really should be paying attention, because that drawing ability of this card is the main effect, as well as that pump up later on. Okay, the bottom ability there, forget the copying tokens. That's just a way of drawing a card for a turn, unless you have some massive cool token out. But when it says creature tokens you control get +2/+2, that's everything from the Mirrex, Phyrexians. That's everything becomes a threat that's a token. And with so many token decks, especially Commander, you guys need to know that this card at $10 is actually, it might be a bargain at this point. I'm not sure, but it's definitely a card that players are buying, and it's on a wish list everywhere. But we're not done yet. No, we're not, guys. Number 1 card this week is the Patchwork Banner. And this card's only $3.54 with 6,211 sales. It has a lot of action, a lot of interest, but the price is staying steady, and that's because it's an uncommon. It's not impossible to find. Now, as a 3 casting cost generic artifact, it fits into a lot of decks, including tribal decks in Commander. Multiple play formats use the card, and there could be a supply issue about 60 days from now. Pay attention to that. Now, as it comes into play, we have to choose a creature type. Creatures of the chosen type get +1/+1, which is all kind of nice and fancy. You can choose different creature types, but it also adds 1 mana of any color, so you can ramp up to bigger things. This card is something to pay attention to, but as an uncommon, at least we know it's not going to hit the $10 mark, which is fantastic, unless supply gets totally whacked out and we get nailed on a supply issue. But it's not going to happen, I don't think. And that was your top 10 selling cards this week. Now we're here at the wrap-up part of the video, and there's a few things to go over here. Number one, the market right now seems to have a ready, available stock of Bloomburrow cards. There are some tighter supplies, especially in certain parts of the world, including Canada, where you can't find certain cards without paying a premium price. But at the same time, we still have TCG Player, there's Card Market, Card Kingdom. There are ways of getting your cards, so don't worry, because there's universal sellers out there who will sell them. Yes, the prices are creeping up like the craziness we saw with the Forge a couple of days ago. This isn't going to stop, but the Bloomburrow prices are now starting to settle in. More playable cards are coming around, and actually quite a few different style decks, which I think is fantastic for the game. I love seeing the variables, and when a new deck comes in and smashes things away and makes you rethink your strategy of the deck you've built, it adds a little bit of uncertainty, and I think that's a good thing for the game. The more options, the better, because you can't prepare for everything. But what we can prepare for is the fact that Bloomburrow, again, for the 3rd week in a row, other than last week we had Sink into Stupor taking the number 9 spot, other than that we have a dominant market that is just, Bloomburrow's just warping everything. It is taking control of the top 10 3 weeks in a row other than 1 card, and the prices are starting to go up, which means you need to pay attention to those cards you were hoping for. You might want to get them now, okay? Either way, it's a fantastic time to be in Magic. Great deck play going on. A lot of constructed formats, enjoying the new cards, and I can't wait to see what's coming up in the next week and in our next top 10, because I can't wait to see if Bloomburrow holds on again for another solid week of sales. And you'll also notice that the lowest sales and the highest sales this week, they're all a lot higher than I expected, and they're holding up fairly well across the board. Good to know that this is a well-received set. Guys, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the reserve list top 10. Stay tuned. I'm sure there's some great stuff coming up, and you don't want to miss it. I will see you tomorrow with another video. Thanks for stopping by the channel. And of course, if you enjoyed today's content, like and subscribe to the channel. I put out new content every single day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Exit stage right, left, somewhere. Go get a coffee. Feel good. Have a good day. Well, hey guys, welcome back. Thanks again for hanging out for the video. You've made it to the end. And yes, these are the credits. These are the people who actually make it happen here every day. Yeah, I do the talking, the research, and the stuff. But if it wasn't for the patrons of this channel supporting me every day, if it wasn't for the YouTube membership members, guys, I wouldn't be doing this. It's thanks to them. I appreciate them every day. And you know what? So should everyone else. Have a great day, everyone.